Well, good evening. We're here for our Monday night meeting. Let me see if I can get this going here. Channel content. We're live. And this is on. This is set to play back the live chat replay. Save. I don't know why that won't stay checked. Okay, now we'll go back to here. And participants, nope, we don't need that. And invite, copy invitation, close that out. Index at the bench. New topic. Monday night. Paste. Post. All right, the information is on the forum. And let's see here. Here we go again, starting out slow. It's like ridiculous. Okie dokie. I guess I can put some clear on this flap while we're waiting for the usual suspects. Today is Monday, right? That must be Monday because there's Gary.
Yeah. Saw you polishing your profile this afternoon.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yep, Monday the 17th. St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I don't have any leprechauns.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna polish that profile. It's kind of beyond polish. What happened was I got too many brush coats on it, not enough spray coats.
Oh.
Just not worth it. But what I am gonna do, I'm gonna put some clear on this. I ought to repaint that inboard side. Come on, there we go. Let's see here, we need. Need a pen. Okay, we got a pen. I need a credit card. Shit. Thought I had one down. I guess I shouldn't have shredded that one. Oh, there's one. And it's the right one. Okay.
Howdy, Steve.
Hi, Gary.
Hi. How are you?
Getting better
Feeling better?
a little bit. Yeah. Still got the cough. What's up, Sparky?
Not a whole lot. Just wondering where the heck you are.
Yeah, I've been dying over here. Caught something and can't get rid of this darn cough. What's the rest of your week look like?
Whenever. I gotta build a gate on the side of my house.
Oh, okay.
The wind tore it up.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That there was a tornado went just north of the airport, and we're just south of the airport, so it was close, but didn't bother us here.
Well, it tornado didn't hit us, but boy, it sure tore the gate.
Oh man.
It was a junk gate anyway, though.
So what are you gonna make it out
I was gonna use 2x6s, but I'm
of?
gonna use fence pickets.
Okay. You got those at Lowe's, or you got
Oh,
some?
no, they're at Lowe's. It'll take me a little bit, maybe a couple hours to build a gate. I don't know. Shouldn't take long.
Yeah, probably not.
I
You're
kind of,
working on you're working on the vortex again?
yeah. Remember, I had that flap that I didn't like. I re,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
re, repainted.
Redid it?
Yeah.
How hard is it to get your flaps out once you got them glued in? You
Well,
got
they're
a
not.
trick doing that?
These weren't glued in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you haven't flown that one yet.
I got
Oh,
the
we got
Yeah.
profile ready to go.
oh good. And we got nice warmth this week, but way too much wind. It's March. Hey, Gordo.
Hi, how you doing, Steve?
Hey,
Good looking dog you got there.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
You go to
You good?
VSC, Gordy?
What's that?
Did you go to VSC?
Well, I was planning on it, and I got sick the day before I was supposed to leave.
Oh man.
And why'd you do
Going
that?
around.
I spent the whole week sick.
Yeah, I get it.
How's the bird coming?
Which one?
The one behind you.
No, it's done. I'm putting the I repainted this flap. What happened was is when I did it first. Let me pull this up here. When I first did it, I use 80 grit to shape it,
Ah,
and and then I stop at a certain depth or whatever, and then switch over to 180 and then 320. Well, for some reason, I must have been asleep when I did this. It looks like I didn't even get the 80 grit marks out of it, and it was terrible. So I had it all painted and lettered, but what I did was I just resanded it and reshot it. It looks better now than it did before. It looks better than the other one.
Hmm.
yeah. Do you tape your flaps or leave them straight?
Do I do what now?
Do you taper them or leave them straight?
They're
The flap.
airfoil.
Airfoil?
Yeah, I airfoil them.
Oh, it looks nice.
And I do them in my hand. I don't do them with rods. I just draw a center line on it and cross hatch it, make them airfoil.
Yeah, I'm still using rods.
Well, the rod method, they have a tendency to warp.
Oh, really?
For me, they do. And if you don't do them right, then you sand them kind of goofy too. You sand a twist in them
Well, I use a wood plane and cut them to shape
on the rods.
on the rods. Yeah.
Huh.
And then when I get close, then I switch to the sanding.
Yeah, I haven't had much luck with rods, so Steve has seen me do it. Well, I've done it a million times on the channel. I just draw lines, and within 2 seconds, I got a flap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't take you long. I watched you do it once live.
I use a 36 and then go to 80, or maybe that's 24. I'm not sure, but I just I just hold them like that and rip it right down there like that to the line and turn it over and do the other side.
Yeah, that 36 grit will really get after it.
It comes off like a cheese shredder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably comes off like my plane does. A wood plane.
Sometimes, sometimes when I'm sanding the nose of an airplane, I'll take the fuselage to the disc sander or belt sander and just roll it around there, just knock
Wow.
off a half-inch of wood.
You're braver than I am. I've had a lopsided nose block.
Well, with the price of eggs going down, do we think the price of balsa is going to go down?
Ah, I doubt it.
I don't think balsa wood's on his radar.
Well, everything should go down. Everybody's gouging us.
Yeah.
Did you see the? I'm going to get one here. Did you see the video I put up? I was complaining about. I was complaining about Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
They went from this big to this big. Well, everybody knows what a Hostess apple pie looks like. Look
Oh,
at it now. Look at it now.
That's the fun size.
That must be the mini version.
We couldn't tell by the price.
Of course not.
They gave me 12, and it may contain pits. It says right here, may contain pits.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Apples don't have pit.
Now this is cherry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I got apple and cherry down here. I was watching a video today. It says you might be old if you remember this, Woolworth, Five and Dime, and drive-ins, and everything on there.
Yeah.
Everything on there. I might be old. Shit, I guess I am old. Mayberry, Andy Griffith, and Dopey, Ron Howard.
Oh, God. Did you hear who won Classic?
No, I didn't.
Jim Hoffman won Classic. Joel Gilbert was second. Dennis News third, and Dennis Admission was fourth.
Wow, Jim Hoffman must have really flew good.
Yeah. Well, he's been working on it for quite a few years.
Well, congrats to Jim Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I already called him, congratulated him.
That's a big accomplishment to beat out Joe Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
You got that right.
I guess he wasn't flying his ringmaster.
Well, he was flying a classic airplane.
Cavalier, probably.
Yeah.
Isn't that a shame about Tom Morris?
No, I didn't hear. Did he pass?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
A couple
Yesterday.
days ago. Yeah.
It's on the forum.
That is too bad.
He's had troubles for several years, though.
15 that I know of. I mean, he had big
Heart
heart attack.
attacks and strokes, and
Yeah.
yeah, he had it bad. He was a great guy.
Yep. Very nice man.
I think he was a full bird colonel or something,
Yeah, yeah.
or lieutenant colonel or something. What's that squeaking?
Probably a dog.
Quiet.
It's a little dog.
Yeah, it's my wife's Shih Tzu.
Is it squeaking a toy or something?
What's
The
that?
big dog. He wants to be with the big dog.
Yeah, she's got a long ways to go to do that. Winston. Here, sit.
Well, Steve, if you're sick, I think you need to take another day. I don't want you to bring that shit over here.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I wanted to wait until I was done with the coffin. I didn't want to give it to you.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll see how it goes. Maybe by Thursday. I don't know.
You're not far away. You're only probably 10 hours out from finishing.
Oh, good.
Did you get the plywood?
I did. Yeah, I got. I thought I had a whole bunch of rubber bands, and I can't find them.
Of course not.
I got everything else. Can't find the darn rubber band.
I hope I can remember how to make that stupid holder. Bring it. You got a battery over here?
I do. Yeah, battery and the motor are there, and
Okay.
actually all the electronics are there.
Okay.
Yeah, should be able to figure out how to get everything in there.
It'll be a whole lot different than your other setup. I mean, you'll have more room and it'll be more secure. And
Yeah, yeah. Is that adjustable at all for CG adjustment?
yeah, you got to make different holders. You can't slide it.
Can't slide it.
No. Maybe we could make it slidable. I don't know. Usually I just cut that hole to fit the battery.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna, well, I did. I did shoot a little bit of paint on your rudder because you
Oh.
could see the primer through there.
Oh yeah, I don't think I got that good.
Yeah, so I had some left in the gun. I said, well, we'll just shoot it on there, and I shot it on there and covered that up. But I was gonna repaint your flap and your elevator too, but I didn't. So
Yeah, I was kind of light on them too. I did get to fly Thursday.
you did.
Yeah, shouldn't have. Well, I got close to the ground a couple times. I guess I was still lightheaded,
Close on the counts of horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, so I still have an airplane. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing pretty good. Crazy as ever. Doing all right.
No, I've been sick for 2 weeks.
What'd you want to do that for?
I didn't.
Yeah, Tommy's got something. He's sounds like he's got that crud.
Mm.
Sounds awful. I hope he's all right. I just don't know what I can do for him.
Tommy.
Looper.
Oh, okay.
Super Looper.
Super Looper, yeah. He built a little airplane called a Super Duper Looper.
Yeah.
Charlie Reeves ended up painting it and flying it, but Tommy built it. And I don't know why he never finished it. Will Davis gave him the motor for it. And they all got it all put together, and then Charlie took it and flew it. And Charlie flew it well, let me tell you.
Mm.
The little plane will loop, even though that motor, funky little motor with a venturi sticking out the back about 3 inches.
Huh.
That was a weird looking motor, but the darn thing would run.
How is Charlie doing? Has anybody been in touch with him?
He came here about a month ago. He looks awfully frail. It rained the
Mm.
whole week, so we didn't get to go fly. He looked awfully frail, but he's still doing. He says he ain't kicking as high as he was, but he's still kicking.
And we're dropping like
Morris,
flies.
right? You heard about
Well, you know,
Tom Morris, right, Phil?
No, I hadn't.
Yeah.
He passed away.
Tom Morris?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I like
Finally
Tom.
caught up with him.
That's a shame. I liked him.
You know, he
He was
had a
great.
heart attack while flying one time.
Yeah. Yeah. And the guy from Florida, I
John
think his name is,
Simpson.
well, John Simpson was
Simpson?
there with him, but guy from Florida came up and ran out in a circle and gave him 5 aspirin, which they later said might be what saved his life.
Wow.
5 baby aspirin. I've carried 5 baby aspirin in a little bottle in my right pocket ever since I heard I had heart problems. So, you know, but Tom Morris will be missed. He was a great guy and a real innovator.
Yeah.
Well, Stunt News has been missed ever since he gave it up.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a choice. Tom was trying to do too much.
Yeah.
But I went down to see him a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you what, he absolutely he could do more. He could do more with less than anybody I knew as far as building.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out with now if you go into guys that really improvised and took our building a long way, I think of about 4 guys: Bob Hunt, foam; Al Raby, molded; Billy Werwich, oh Jesus, he's the man, forget it; and Tom Morris. They're the ones I think of. Sparky can build faster than anybody I've ever seen, but he hasn't really innovated anything other than being able to stick to it. He's just more stubborn than the rest of us.
How about my hinges?
Yeah. His
Well, now I
hinges
do
are
like your
different.
hinges, but see, I've never been able to get a set of them, so I don't know.
You got to make
I
them.
like the way they look on your airplane, but I one of these days I'm gonna set you down and get you to draw it up and show me how it works, because I'm a very visual person. If I see it in print, usually I can remember it. But if somebody just tells me something, it's in one ear, out the other, and gone.
Of course, the hinges aren't really mine anyway. They're from the 50s.
50s. I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
that. I like the way they look, though. They're unique looking.
I thought they were still sewing on the hinges in the 50s.
This type of stuff's been around forever. There ain't nothing new.
Somebody told me last week that these new lines I'm using are something brand new, because we've never used we've never used cloth lines before or fishing lines before. I said, one, everything we've ever used has been fishing line. It's leader. That's all we've ever used is leader. All the connectors are up until the stuff we're using now have been fishing connectors. And what do you reckon Half A's worked on for years and years? Dacron line, fishing line. So ain't nothing new. Sparky's right. Ain't a darn thing new. You do it with a different material, but the idea itself is nothing new. And here comes Gordon. Sir Delaney, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Nice to be
Well,
seen
good.
and not viewed.
Did you go to VFC this year?
No, sir. No, I couldn't go this year. No, I would love to have gone. I'd love for somebody to come in that went and tell us how it went, but I didn't get to go this year. That dog is looking pretty. He looks like you clipped him, but he's pretty.
Well, you haven't heard the results yet.
No, sir. Who won? Do you know?
Jim Hoffman.
Oh, shoot. That's cool. That's good. Yeah, can't talk. That's good.
Yeah,
How
Joe Gilbert was second. Dennis News was third, and Dennis
Adam Essen?
Admission, thank you. He was fourth.
Good gracious, that's a pretty stout lineup there.
So, guess
How
they had
about
a
old
lot of
time?
rain and wind, but they got it all in.
It's been a messy week all across the country. I've been watching the weather at my brother's place and my sister's old place in here, and it's been a mess all week.
Yeah. Last week it was 64 degrees. The next day it snowed 2 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we didn't get 2 inches, but we got snow. We woke up and Alexa told us that it was snowing outside, 51 degrees and snow. I said, snow, that thing's lost its mind. I looked out the back window. No, it hadn't lost its mind either. It snowed. Jeez. It was kind of weird.
Most of it's melted again.
Yeah. This time of year, if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. Something will change. It's
Yeah, we've
crazy.
had wind here for the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
nonstop.
We had bird feeders blow down this weekend, and I mean, some of them are heavy bird feeders. My wife says, how in the world did that blow off the stand? It didn't, dear. The stand blew down too. I mean,
Wow.
everything went. And we had some serious wind. I had a big, what do you call them things? Tarps, big heavy tarp. And I mean, this sucker's heavy out in the backyard. And I had some stuff on top of it. Well, I noticed the thing I had on top of it had blown over. And then I got to looking, I said, what the? And I saw my tarp about 100 yards and the neighbor behind me across the field on the other side of the field. So I went out and got it right quick and brought it back. Them darn things aren't cheap anymore.
No.
Oh, well, anyway, one of them things.
Yeah, we had a couple tornadoes here in St. Louis.
Yeah. How about Steve Smith? The real Steve Smith, he disappeared the other night. Is he okay?
As far as I know,
Yeah, well, he come back on.
Oh, he
But then
did?
he left. Yeah, but stuff was blowing around, so he went back downstairs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I live just south of the airport, and one of them went just north of the airport. So,
Shoo.
yeah, just a couple miles
See,
away.
that's the reason I came back to North Carolina when they tried to transfer me to Oklahoma City. That
Oh,
wind
there
y'all
you go.
deal with. That wind y'all deal with is just I'm not that brave. When it blows whole houses away, I'm done. I'm going home. I live at the foot of 3 mountains, and that's fine with me. The mountain range, I should say. Yeah, it's fine with me. Whew. Gordon, what are you building?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Working on a gun stock.
A gun stock.
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
I'm betting it.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I've done that too. I did not realize what a job that was till I did it one time.
Well, I've done it several times. I got this beautiful Winchester 270, and it shoots every place but where you point it.
Yeah. I've got a 45-70 with a medallion in the stock, an octagon barrel, and a true grit type receiver or cocker. And golly, my son-in-law saw that thing, and I thought he was going to steal it. He wanted that thing. He was salivating over that thing. It's never been cocked. It's never been out of the plastic, and it's still got that grease all over it. And he told somebody about it. They harped on me for 6 months trying to buy that thing. I finally went and looked in Shooter's Bible and found out what it was worth. And then I went and asked a gun collector what it was worth. He said, well, the Shooter's Bible says it's worth this, but if you get it for this, you've done real well. And it was more than the Bible said. So I went back and told him what was in the Shooter's Bible. I said, I take that for it because it's more than twice, almost 3 times what I gave for it 30 years ago. And I didn't hear no more out of him. So that's
Yeah,
fine.
my wife gave me about the same rifle, hexagon, brass plates on the side, lever action, 45-70. The tag's still on it. It's never been shot.
Yeah, that's the way mine is. Still in the box. I did notice the last time I took it out to look at it, I should have taken it out of the box because the foam is starting to compact pretty bad with the weight of the gun on it. That sucker's heavy with that big heavy barrel.
You bet it is.
Looks like Bob's playing with a half A.
I was thinking about taking this old harder speed pen I got and this little TD and marrying them up, building an airplane.
Let's
Sound
take
like
a
half
look.
a half A speed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they just had a monster of a a speed event in your area. If y'all didn't go, you should have. If I'd been close, I'd have been there.
What were you going to say, Gordy?
I say hold it up so we can see the pan. Can't see it. Wow, still in the package.
Oh man.
Wow.
$2.50.
Yeah, right. Buy one now.
You
Good
could probably
Lord.
sell it for $30 or $40 now.
Yeah, I bet I could. Except eBay wants their cut.
Yeah. Hey Gordo, we do two, actually a couple of different, or Phil, we do a couple of different speed events here in St. Louis because we got that speed cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only one or two left in the country as far as I know.
Well, they got
So we got
they're
one in
big.
May, and then they do this World Cup thing in September.
That's what it was, the World Cup.
Yeah, and
Were
we
you
had
there?
guys.
Were you there, Steve, the day the Formula 40 got strained through the fence?
No, I missed out on that.
You sound like you're disappointed.
Well, it was on a pan just similar to that, and it went through the fence, and it took the head, the cylinder, the prop, and the whole speed pan came out, but it ripped it right out like a bullet. We had a guy in our club named, I think it's Pete Peterson. Is that right?
Yeah.
No,
You had
Pete
Yeah, I
Peterson.
think so.
Well, we got Pete Peterson that moved up there to Washington, but he's never flown speed.
This guy flew Perkies.
Yeah, that was Pete.
Yeah.
There was a Pete that flew Perkies. I remember reading about him.
Anyway,
Yeah, must have been a different Pete.
if he
Yeah,
was
I
There was
think
two
so.
Philip Baileys, so I mean there could easily be a couple different Pete Petersons. That's
if
pretty
he
common
was
number.
flying Perky, you wanted to be standing behind your car because the bell cranks pulled out every single airplane, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think his first name was really Pete, but that's what people called him because his last name was Peterson.
Yeah. You know, I got the, I can't think of the kid's name, set a jet speed record. What do you call it? The iron something. And I've been flying combat, and I heard him trying to start, so I walked over to the asphalt, and they had cars parked all on one side, and he lit that off. And when he turned it loose, I moved back, and some guy says, "Do you know something I should know?" And he says, "You'll find out here in a second." Boy, went over 200 miles an hour, and he kept it about 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the deck.
Did all the car alarms go off?
Well, this is before car alarms,
Oh, okay.
but when he took off, I found several people standing back of the cars like I did.
Well, we used to have a meet over here when Jack Sheeks was alive at Fort Benjamin Harris, and that was a AAA contest.
Yeah.
They didn't have much of a speed cage. They just had some nets they put up, and them things, God, they really D-speed and jet, man, they really hauled ass. Lots of noise.
Yeah.
We had some guys here that flew that, Huff Herlocker and crew, and Mike Langlois was a pilot. And Hobby Park, I'm tickled to have it, but what they put up for us for safety at the speed when they were flying the speed event was 2 4x4 posts with a piece of 3/4 plywood between it. I'm not kidding. That's what we were supposed to get behind. Well, there was a guy out there flying a half A one day that broke loose and hit that fool thing and went through it. The spinner made it all the way through it. The rest of it didn't, but the spinner made it all the way through it. And I thought, yeah, right. With one of those 200-mile-an-hour jets, that we would have really been safe behind that plywood. And your cars are 50 yards that away. You had to walk down to that circle.
Yeah.
Good grief.
We also had an old guy who lived out in the woods, I guess. He'd come down. He was on the forum. I can't remember his name, but he built steam engines. And they were all hand filed, all the nuts and bolts and everything, all hand filed. God, they were beautiful. You remember him, Steve?
I remember reading about it.
Yeah, I think so. Is that the same guy that flew diesel?
No,
No.
The guy who flew diesel was my size. He come with his wife, and she'd sit in the car, read a book, and he'd fly his little 15-size diesel.
Yeah, he always flew in the cage.
Well, I've seen him fly on the or the square circle too. This guy here made steam engines. He made a little ball peen hammer. It was exactly like a ball peen hammer. It's unreal. Inch long.
Gracious day. Some people are really good at that stuff.
Hello? Hello? Who's calling?
Want to sell your house? They want to buy your house, Gordy.
Yeah. Too late.
I had a phone call like selling my house on air. I mean, I'm getting them all the time, but I decided I'd answer one just to prove what's going on. So I did it today on air. And the guy said, "You have congratulations." I won something. I don't think I can afford another free gift.
Well, you're going to get more now.
Sell me Medicare.
Why am I going to get more?
Because you answered. So now they know it's a good number. You got flagged. Now they'll all be after you.
Yeah, they're already all after me anyway.
Yeah.
They figure he's got money.
Yeah.
Gotta have some food here, guys.
All right.
Go for it. Mine's gonna be done in about an hour. I'm gonna go in there and eat it. Oof. Sparky, what are you building next?
I'm trying to finish up some of these old projects. Got the Viper profile repaired, and the only thing left to do is paint the red sunburst on the bottom. And I just cleared the flap for this, so we need to get everything glued on this and get it bench trimmed. I already put the Viper back together. I got the Junar together, the Aegis together, the Viper together, what is it? I can't remember what I called that profile or that foam wing thing. The foam wing airplane, this one and that one. So I got 6 or 7. So I need
Is
to
that
finish.
the Carumba?
Caramba, yeah, that's it. It's got the motor in it. It's ready to fly.
Did you get that Vector done?
Yeah, Victor's gone.
I'm not going to ask about the T word.
The twister will get done when it gets done.
Yeah, Gary knows what we're
That-
talking about.
That
Oh,
poor
I know what
twister.
you're doing. Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a fence rise twister. But
I
I
still
just
got a
every time
kit.
I look at those square corners, I want to
Yeah,
do it like a stinger.
I still got a kit I got from Tom Morris.
Yeah.
It's got some good wood in it.
You do. You got
Tom had some real
your kit.
It's a kit, yeah.
Take a wing rib out of it and bring it over. I'm just going to build a whole new wing.
Oh, okay.
That way I can trace it out.
Yeah, that's a square wing. That's a Hershey bar, so you only need the one rib.
Yeah. Just one will be fine. There's 2 different ribs in it. There's 4
Yeah, there's
different
2
ones.
ribs.
Well,
The center section's a little smaller.
center ones are different. I think I even have a plan with all the ribs on it.
Whatever.
Good. Add two bays, one on either end.
Next
And
time
it
you
will
come,
fit.
just bring me a rib, and that way I don't have to tear that wing up.
Oh, good. Okay. What's wrong with the wing?
It's twisted
Oh, okay.
because of the way it's built. I didn't jig it up to put it together.
Yeah,
Just went like that.
yeah. Those have to. I think he designed that to work with his wing jig, the block.
Well, I got one over there.
Tom's wings go together on the blocks, but you put half ribs on. Sparky built a kit.
Yeah,
Oh, you're talking. Yeah, that's a twister kit from Sig. That's not a Tom Morris.
yeah. This is a twister kit from Sig.
Ah, yeah, that's different.
Well, no worries.
Tom Morris's kits. You open it up and there's 5,000 parts in there. I mean, every rib is actually, instead of being one piece, it's 2 pieces, upper and lower, but then you got the center spar, and the leading edge is 3 pieces, and the trailing edge is 3 pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
But they build light, they build straight, and they fly well. So I learned a lot. I went down there and stayed 2 days with him and just watched him build.
Oh man.
I don't remember what I watched him build. I think it was a Saturn. No, it wasn't. It was a Genesis for the guy in Florida, Genesis Extreme. And I said, Tommy, that landing gear is never going to hold up. It's just not heavy enough. And the wire only went up in it about 5/8 of an inch. That was it. He says it's lighter that way. I said, yeah, it's light, but if he dorks landed one time, it's going to come up through the top of the wing. Well, he went ahead and finished building it, and he gave it to the guy in Florida. He took it and finished it and beat me with it in Huntersville. So that's how much I know. The wing's still doing just fine.
Well, I'll tell you this, Wendy used to put his torsion bar all the way up to the top of the rib. You know,
Oh, I
from the
remember that.
to the top.
And he had a 3-inch thick wing too.
Mine are 1/2 inch. That's all I put. You don't need all that wire up in there. You got a good glue joint on the maple motor mount. You don't need all that wire.
Yeah, that's the way I'm doing mine. It's about half or I think it is 5/8. But it's that way because the wire comes up, or the motor mount comes up, the block that the wire comes into comes up, and the lead outs come right over top of it.
Exactly. So you don't want all that wire sticking up there.
No, no. Wire on wire, eventually something's going to wear.
You don't
And it's
want the
probably
lead out
not going to
touching
be the
nothing.
piano wire. Do what?
You don't want the lead outs touching nothing or able to touch
No.
anything.
No, that's for sure, because they will sure enough wear. Yeah, I threw an airplane together one time, and I said, I'm just going to throw this thing together, not worry about it. I threw that thing together in a month and painted it and got it ready to go. It didn't look terrible, but it didn't look great. It wasn't the job I could have done. And I figured it would be just go out and practice with it, learn to fly or whatever, and then scrap it, give it to somebody, sell it, something. I flew that darn thing for 2 years, and it always aggravated me that I didn't take time to build it right. So I don't throw them together anymore. I go ahead and take time and build them right. It was a Shark 45, and Buddy Barbie still tells me, he says, that's the biggest damn model I'd ever seen in my life. It looked huge. It was a big airplane in its day. It was a nice plane, but I should never have put that thing together so quick.
I can remember seeing one of them at Whittier Narrows, and we thought this was the end of stunt.
Yeah, well, if you saw it when you saw it at Whittier Narrows, it was probably either Charlie or oh Lord, now I can't think of his name.
Lou McFarland.
Lou McFarland, yeah.
Mhm.
I met Lou when I stood outside his hobby shop and saw that thing hanging in the window. I said, "Dadgum, a shark." And a guy walked up behind me and said, "Would you like to look at it?" I said, "Yeah, I would. I'd have to find out what time the hobby shop opens tomorrow, when it's open, and see if I can't get done in time to get by here and see it." He says, "Well, why don't we just go in and look at it now?" And I turned around, it was Lou. So that's how I met Lou McFarland, standing in Louisville, Kentucky at his hobby shop. He was a character.
So, Phil, I got a question for you.
Okay.
When are you going to finish that Pathfinder LE?
Oh, Lord. I don't know, Gordon. I'm working on the I tried to cut some parts for the Pathfinder Trailblazer today, and didn't get much done, but I'm still cutting parts for the LE. I need to get some 1/4 inch that's not ball bat material, and I'll cut some more pieces, but I'm still thinking about it. It's in a box down there. I'm making a kit. The ribs are cut. They're cut Tom Morris style, and we'll build a Tom Morris style wing for it because it's so darn big. I wanted to save some weight.
It's not that big.
Yeah,
It's only
big.
it's 650.
Well, anyway, they're already cut. I'm gonna save some weight. They're not just rib slicers. The last ones Tom did and showed me how to do are done like rib slicers, except at the front they got that little foot on them, and they're made to actually fit. And
Bob, it looks like you don't even have to rub that one out.
Kind of looks that way.
Looks
Wow,
nice.
it looks good,
really
Bob.
nice.
What's the deal? Why'd you have to replace it?
I didn't have to replace it. I just didn't sand it well enough. It had big grooves in it.
It was really
That
shiny now,
airplane.
and it's
I thought
dry.
you had already
It's not
flown
wet.
that plane.
It's dry.
Better hope it's dry, otherwise you're gonna have a real mess. Gordon, I'll get that one. I've got a OS 46. I heard that's what you had in yours. I'm putting OS 46 VF in it with a pipe manifold of pipe.
Aren't they kind of heavy?
The 46?
Yeah, the VF.
Well, it is. I've got a 42 if I need it. I've got 3 or 4 40s.
Use the 46, they run better.
Yeah, my 40. I love my 46, but it was in a bigger airplane. Plus, it was on a pipe.
Oh, this one's on a pipe. You can't, I have never seen anybody make a 40 run on a muffler, not an OS 40. I've seen the 46 run many times, but the 40s just, they're just timed too high or something. I don't know what it is. Everyone I've ever seen was just always trying to change, breaking, just wouldn't run constant. But you put it on a pipe and it's magic. That's probably going to be a piped airplane anyway. It's either going to be a pipe or I'm going to make it electric, and I've cut front end parts for both, so I don't know. We'll see. If our little buddy from up your way comes back on, I'm going to see about getting him to send me some more stuff. I'll have to call him. I've got his name and address here somewhere. It's in my book if I can find my book. Anyway,
Who are you talking about? My buddy or somebody else's buddy?
your buddy.
Oh, John Miller.
Who?
Oh, Paige Peterson.
No.
John
Bill's
Miller.
horns and handles and stuff. Holds
Oh,
you
Brent
up.
Williams. Brent Williams.
Yeah, Brent Williams. Until I'm getting old because I have brain farts and just can't remember people's names sometimes. And
Wait till you
sometimes
get
it's embarrassing because I get to work. People I've known for 20 years, I just cannot. It's embarrassing as heck, but anyway.
Yeah.
Just think when
Oh,
you get
Lordy.
to Gordy's age, you won't have brain farts, you'll have brain shits.
I hope I live to be Gordy's age. I tell you what.
I have great grandkids.
Oh Lord, Gordon, how old are you?
82.
Well, you're Tommy's age. Tommy's 83. And he still goes like a house fire when he's not sick. He's
Who's that?
he's trying to tell me that he's going to have to slow down. He just can't do all this stuff anymore. And then he picks up the handle and goes out there and dusts my butt something fierce. So I
Who's
don't
that?
believe him. Tom Looper.
Oh,
Tommy's one taught me how to fly. Tommy's one taught me how to fly. Man, I could already go around in circles, but he and another fella got me to do the pattern, and taught me to do the pattern. Got me flying stunt, and I'm telling you, I've been flying with him 49 years. I've been married 50, so I've been flying with him 49 and a half years. And what I know, he taught me, but he ain't taught me everything he knows yet. Because we went to a contest. In all the contests I've ever flown against Tommy, and for 6 years, I just flew old time because that's what Tommy wanted to fly. So we only flew old time. In 6 years of flying and all, I don't know how many contests we competed against each other. I got a bunch of seconds and thirds downstairs, a bunch of them. But I didn't get a darn first as long as Luke was flying. I finally beat him 2 times with my boxcar chief. And I haven't beat him since. I think he let me win. I'm telling you what, he's a rascal. But
well, wasn't he a combat flyer?
Tom Looper, no, he never flew combat. He and I flew combat out at Hobby Park when Clayton Smith came out there with some combat planes and wanted to show us the error of our ways and get us to fly combat. And I flew big lazy 8s until it ran out of fuel, and then Wind flew the last turn and got the thing back on the ground in one piece. And Tommy did the same darn thing. I can't think fast enough to fly them things. It had one of them diamond ported Fox specials on the front of it, and he let go of that thing, and I'm sitting there. That sucker about wrapped around my head. I had to do the first lap, was just spun it around. It was gone, man. Them things are too quick for me. Elmer Huff tried to get us to fly those things. No, too fast.
Maybe I'm not hearing the name right. You're saying Tom Fluker, right?
Looper.
No, Tommy Looper, Luper.
Oh, Looper. Yeah, see, that's my heart. Just Tom Fluker was a combat flyer.
No. Tom Looper, though, is a stunt flyer. But you know, we had Elmer Huff in this area. We got several good combat flyers in this area. And you try to fly with those guys and go out there and they want you to fly some with them. And I'll pit for you, but I can't fly those things. That's like Elmer Huff wanted me to try to fly a monoline airplane one time. Thank God all you had to do was get the thing going, get it up to 3 feet. You could let go of it. You could let go of the darn thing and just hang on, hold your hand in the, whatever you call that thing. It's a big U that you stick your hand down in, the yoke. You just take your other hand, hang on the top of it and try to keep up, try to keep your feet under you and fly that thing for about 10 laps till it quits. And then about 4 more laps until it finally touches down. And when I got it on the ground, I took the handle off and I laid it down and I walked off the circle and he said, "Wait a minute, we'll tune it up and you try it again." No, thank you. No, thank you. That was all I can handle. I was just real proud as punch that thing stayed level for the whole flight. Because once it took off and got going, my feet about came out from under me and I can't think that fast. Those things are quick. Now those jets, some of those jets, I've seen those jets flying. They're not any faster than I've flown Navy carrier models that are that quick. But then I've seen some that Huff and Herlocker flew that were over 200 miles an hour. And I don't. Oof. They had a national record set at Hobby Park, but there wasn't anybody no official there to back it up. I don't know if they ever got it done in contests or not. I never kept up with all that, but man, those things were honking. But Mike tickles me. He comes to a contest and he flies that thing at night and you see the glow. Wow. I don't know how the heck he sees to fly it, but you know, he's got younger eyes than I do.
How about
But it's a good deal.
his jet, his MiG? Then he's
Do
got
what
his,
now?
Danny Banjak's got his MiG and his jet stunter. He does a pattern with a jet airplane.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen him do that.
Yeah, that's the Acme Jet Stunter or something like that.
Yeah, Acme something or other. Coyote Special. The Coyote's flying it. Yeah, he's Danny Banjak. I think the world of him. I don't think he gets treated fairly at contests because they have given him some contests that where I judge he would not have placed that high. And I hate that because he judged the first contest that I won in old time. But fair's fair. And when you bring the plane up completely over your head to do a climb and level off and do 2 laps and bring it completely over your head and bring it down to do a dive, that is not by the rules. And a great big lazy 8 that covers half the circle, I mean literally half the circle, and X'd in the middle, that is not an old-time legal figure 8. But there again, I think the world of Danny, but his vertical 8s were something to watch. He'd make an 8, and I swan it, the boy can fly 45 degrees behind him because I saw him do it. I took pictures. He's 45 degrees behind him, and he's still on his feet. That boy is amazing. He is amazing. I shouldn't say boy because he's not a boy, but I'm telling you
Well,
what, Danny Banjak.
he acts like one though.
He's
Danny
like a little
Banjak
kid,
Yeah,
he's a hell of a
little kid
pilot,
in
though.
that toy shop.
Well, he's a heck of a pilot. He enjoys flying as much as anybody I've ever seen.
yeah.
He is a kid in the candy store when he's out flying. He's something else. You can't help but like the guy. I mean, he's just very, very likable individual.
Yeah,
But I just think he's getting some scores that, no, I couldn't do that. As much as I like him, if you're going to be a judge, you have to resign yourself to giving them what they deserve,
that's
not
right.
what you want to give them.
That's
And
right.
that's just not by the book. So anyway.
Are you building a handle, Bob?
Paul Taylor sent me a handle, and
Oh,
it's kind of a knockoff of a Casminato handle.
oh
But
yeah.
I'm modifying it to make it more like a Casminato handle. It's too wide.
Oh, okay.
Should send me that one and get him send you a narrower one. I
No,
need a wide handle. Paul Taylor does some pretty work sometimes. I've seen some of his work. He does some pretty nice work. Sparky, I'm surprised you haven't made handles like that. I mean, you got,
I used to make handles.
oh, okay.
There ain't no money in it.
Well, no, you're probably right there. If you made a cast style handle, if you could figure out how to make the cast style handle, I bet you could sell them. I'd take a couple of them, build me a 90. I'll take a couple of them.
Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna have to leave you.
Mm.
You guys have it. I know it's a little early, but you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you. I guess we're still open on Fridays now, aren't you?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Gordon, before you get going, I got one for you. If you were going to build a twin Pathfinder, twin Pathfinder profile, and you were going to build it, I know you're not an electric man, but you were going to build it electric, would you put the two nacelles together, or would you still cant the outboard one out?
John's the only one that cants them out. Mine are always straight.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, John always puts, I think, 2 degrees offset in the outboard. I mean, it's okay, but I've always just put mine straight ahead.
That's so amazing. So mine will be straight ahead. All righty. Well,
All right,
anyway,
you
you
guys,
take care of yourself, and we'll see. Hope to see you Friday night.
yeah, you guys take
Stay out of
care.
trouble.
All right.
You
You too,
too. Stay out
Gordo.
of trouble so Mama don't have to
Okay.
hurt you.
See ya.
Oh, and there's
Sir.
Mark.
There he
Mark
is.
Gerber.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Mark, how are you? How'd you do at VSC?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I
just-
bet.
I just got back this afternoon.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
Well, give us the report.
Well, it's all on Facebook.
I hadn't fired up Facebook in 2 or 3 days now.
Somebody's been posting results as we go along. Almost every day there have been updates.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which group was that?
I think it's Pampa.
Oh, the Pampa group?
I don't know who's been doing it, but somebody has.
Hmm.
That's probably.
Well, they're doing something. That's good.
I'm glad to see something going again. That sounds good.
Well, what did you
Sparky
fly
was.
in? What did you fly, Mark?
Flew my T-Bird. So
Just one event?
yeah, I just flew it in Classic.
Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
Well, that's what matters.
It was really windy on Thursday and Saturday, but
Hmm.
Wednesday and Friday were good. And earlier in the week, you had a lot of wind too. It was hard to get practicing in.
I'll bet.
And I was tinkering with my T-Bird since I haven't flown it for a long time, like 15 years.
Which in a minute. Well, I think I'm gonna go to supper, so I will see y'all in about an hour. Everybody
gonna go
stay
to-
out of trouble. Mark,
gonna
I'm
go to-
glad you had a good time.
There won't be an after party tonight, so
I'm gonna bed here pretty soon, so I won't be on here real long. But
Okay.
Joe
Well,
Gilbert said he
maybe
might
I'll see
call
y'all
in, so
tonight.
we'll see if he shows up.
Yeah. I kind of wondered how Steve's doing, because that's kind of weird. I figured he'd be in here tonight, but just to tell us that he survived the weekend, because Friday night sounded like the storms were popping all around him. He's had one eye on the computer and one eye on the TV or something, watching the storm's progress.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I lost power for a couple hours.
We used to, when I first moved down here, every time, if you saw lightning flash off in the distance, you went inside, made sure everything was closed because you knew the power was going to go out for 2 or 3 hours. And then we got a generator and they revamped the local power system about the same time and haven't had a problem since, but you know, the way it works. But anyhow, y'all have a great one. I'm going to go eat because Mama says it's time to munch. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you Friday.
All righty.
See
All
you,
right,
Phil.
take care,
All
Phil.
right.
Oh, one more thing, Sparky. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll send you that check. I don't know if I ever told you that or not.
You gotta
Just when
send
you're
me
when you
you gotta send me an address so I can get an idea what it's gonna cost.
Okay, I'll text you that. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya. Yeah. Well, at least you didn't crash, Mark, so that's good.
I don't think anybody really. Jim Rhodes hit the ground with his whatever
After,
that thing is. Yeah. And he knocked off a landing gear and tore the fabric off the bottom of one wing. But the plane stayed in the air, so he flew out the tank and then landed on one wheel. And I think he's going to go home and fix it. He's a little thinking that the thing was so old, he didn't know if he wanted to fix it, but I think he probably will. And nobody really plastered an airplane that I recall.
how many showed up?
Well, I don't have the list here. We had 12 in old time this year. Last year we had 18. And classic we had 18, I think it was. I think last year we had 20 some.
Now you've been out of town. You heard that Tom Morris passed away, right?
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, he did a lot for the hobby, I'll tell you. I think half the hardware I have downstairs is Tom Morris stuff. And if you don't know any of the results, Joe Gilbert won old time. Surprise, surprise. With his ringmaster. But Jim Hoffman won classic, and Joe came in second. And then I think Joe won ringmaster.
You think?
I can't remember. I never did see him fly in ringmaster because I was busy in the classic circle. They were over in the grass doing the ringmaster while I was over flying my own plane. Anyway, Saturday morning they had, I guess they did ignition on Friday too, and I can't remember who won that. There's only two entries. I got the results here. Sorry.
Was Jim Lee there?
Yeah. Yeah, he won a whole bunch of awards. I was the MC at the banquet, so I have the master sheet right here. Yeah, so Joe won old time. Lou was second. Bart Kopinski won ignition. Jim Lee was second. I don't know what happened with that. And I just know that that's the order. And then Joe won the ringmaster. Bob Harness was second. And classic was Jim Hoffman won, and Joe Gilbert was second. And then Super 70. Oh, Jim Lee won that. And John Wright was second, although we only had three entries, and it was so windy Saturday morning that none of them flew a complete pattern. Jim got in more maneuvers than anybody else. I think he ended up with a 388 score and won. He stopped. He got as far as the hourglass, which I was surprised by, given the win, and then he did a very exciting hourglass and managed to save it and didn't crash. And then after that, he just flew out the tank, so he didn't get any points for the overhead or the cloverleaf or landing, and he still won. So it was really brutal on Saturday morning. And then the Eagle Award, Joe Gilbert won that again.
What's that for?
That's overall placing. Keith Trossel awards that, and he gives he has some kind of scoring mechanism where if you win first place, you get 1 point. Second place is 2, and he goes through all the events. And so whoever has the lowest score wins the Eagle Award across all the events. So of course, Joe flew old time, classic, and ringmaster, and he had 2 firsts and a second, so he won the Eagle Award. I think I can't remember how many years in a row Joe's won it, but he got it. Kind of the cool thing was the Bob Goldini Sportsmanship Award went to Colleen Gilbert, and then the Keeper of the Flame went to Joe Gilbert. So the two of them took those home.
So basically, it was a Joe Gilbert show.
Well, has been on a lot of years.
Well, that's all right. When in this area here, we got the John Paris Award. I mean, John Paris does that. He wins everything. Okay.
Anyway, we had a great times, and I'll go back next year. I hope we get it. It'd be nice to get a few more people, but
Problem is, everybody's dying off.
yeah. What's his name from Nevada?
Reuben McBride.
No, the guy that gives awards for people that turn 80.
Oh,
I guess that was near the front. Yeah, Lanny Shorts
Lanny Shorts. Yeah.
has been given awards, I don't know, going back at least 5 or 6 years for all the over 80 pilots. So when you hit 80, you get to stand up and Lanny puts a hat on you. And Lanny wasn't there this year. I don't think he was there last year. But he sent the hats and Jim Hoffman did the presentation. So John Callentine turned 80. He was the only one that got the 80 hat, but Glenn Allison turned 90. And Glenn was there, so that was nice. We gave him a standing ovation.
Was Wesley Dick there?
No, Wes didn't come out. Dennis had a mission, also at Fort Wayne, Indiana. Got let's see, where did he finish? He finished 4th in Classic. Anyway, Dennis brought out his new Typhoon. I think he showed it on this program, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was flying that. He got it pretty well debugged. And so he got the Spirit of 64 award for that airplane. which was nice. It was really, despite the fact that it has an electric motor and it was covered with Monaco, it still really represents the good old days.
Yeah.
And then Ray Firkin showed up for the first time in about 6 years, I think. And he had his Heinz 57. I better remember that. That's well, Gordon just left, right? It's a Gordon Delaney design. And he got the Pilot's Choice Award for Classic. It has a beautiful finish. I hadn't seen Ray for 5 or 6 years, and it was nice to see him there. Get caught up again. He moved from California to Texas in the interim here.
So that put him farther away, huh?
I'm not sure. He's living around Austin somewhere, I think, and in California, he lived up in Bakersfield. So I get out Google Maps and see what the relative distance is, but
Paul Walker and those guys show up?
no.
No Howard, nobody like that?
Dennis Nunes was the only one from that crew.
Huh.
David Fitzgerald flew in and judged. I think it's really nice that he does that.
Yeah.
Randy Powell came down from Washington. Larry Lindbergh and Jim Renkar came from Illinois.
Really?
Oh, the peanut gallery showed up, huh?
Yeah, they were judges.
The
One of
Belly
Oh,
events.
Boys.
cool.
So it was nice to see them. They got the Sportsmanship Award last year, I think, the two of them
Uh-huh.
together. And then Utah, we had Roger Kramer, Paige Peterson. Paige was there for the first time, and Jim Rhodes. In Colorado, it was just me and Keith Trossel. And then Oklahoma was Joe and Colleen Gilbert. And Ray and Becky from Texas. Antone Kephart came back from California. He's missed several VSCs, I think, over the last few years, and he came back again. Stan Tyler, who I don't really know, came back. Oh, Roy DeCamera showed up on Saturday morning at the hotel. It was nice to see Roy. He spent the week there. He didn't fly or anything, but it was just nice to see Roy again get caught up and talk about airplanes.
Where are you at, Mark?
I'm home now
No, I know, but where is home?
in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Colorado. So was there anyone there from east of the Mississippi?
Yeah, Denny.
Oh, Denny was. Yeah, yeah.
And then I guess you could count I guess Larry Lindbergh and Jim Rankar are just east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's about it from the east. Grady Wiedner came down from Phoenix. I don't really know him. I guess he's been there in the past, but he showed up with a flight streak. He flew it really well in Classic. So he got a special award for, I can't remember what they called it anymore. They made it up so they could give it to him because everybody said that was really cool to see that flight streak flying Classic, and he flew it well.
So Flight Streak qualifies for Classic?
Sure, why not?
I don't know. I don't remember when it was created.
I don't either, but I don't think it was before 1953, and I know it was before 1970, so it's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It was definitely in the 50s. Just after the
Flight,
Nobler.
the Flight Streak?
Yeah, just after the Nobler.
Huh. Didn't realize it was that they were that old.
Yeah. I had a junior flight streak when I was in high school, but I never had a flight streak.
Yeah, I had a couple of them. That's what I learned the pattern on.
Anyway, Jim Hoffman had a fourth place award for um, ignition, but he only had, I guess he had a third place award for ignition, but he only had 2 entries. So he took that award and took tape, put tape on it, and wrote on that was for special honorable mention for most unusual entry. Jim Lee had a super cinch, if you know what that is. That was a kit that I guess Joe Gilbert got it because it's part of D. Hill's collection. And Jim Lee ended up with it as a result of a lottery or something they did. And Jim made plans and built his own. And
Is
it
that
doesn't have,
ignition?
no, well, it could
No.
be, but I don't know what he had in it. A Fox something or other. I think it was an old Fox 35. Anyway, it doesn't have a lot of wing area. And the first time he flew it, I was watching and he did something that sort of looked like a climb. It sort of looked like a dive. It was kind of staggering around. And then I was judging old time and he flew it in old time and he told us he wasn't going to try the horizontal 8 or the vertical or the vertical 8 or the overhead 8. So we scratched those out. But he got into the inside loops. Anyway, by that time he was doing better with the climb and the dives. You could pretty well recognize them. They weren't great, but at least you could see he was climbing and diving. And then he started doing loops, and I think he got in 1.5 or something of inside loops and maybe one outside loop before he bailed. But it was just fun to see him try to execute the pattern with that thing. So he got the most unusual entry award for his super cinch. But Jim walked off with a bunch of them. He got Spirit of 46 for his Go Devil. Got the Super Cinch. He got the Pilot's Choice Award for Super 70s, his mutation. He might have got something else too. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, he collected at least 3 awards and maybe more. Oh yeah, he got first in Super 70. So he got that one. He got second in Ignition. Yeah, so he had 5 awards when he was all done. I was kidding about it. He needed to go get a trailer to haul his awards home. Anyway, it was a fun week. I've really never had a bad time at VSC. So what's been happening on this program while I've been absent? Anything?
And we're kind of dying. Everybody's moving to Facebook, so they want to. I guess they want to see Stunt Hangar go away.
Can't do Zoom on Facebook. Can you?
No, well, did a nice job on this handle. I mean, just a few things wrong.
Where'd you get that, Sparky?
Oh,
Paul who?
I can't remember his last name now. Shit, I just had it.
Paul Taylor?
Paul Taylor, yeah.
What are you modifying there?
I made this handle half as thick as he made it. So I
Yeah,
gotta,
Dennis had a missing, last year at VSC. Joe Gilbert had gotten the handle that Dennis used to win the 69 Nats when he was 15 years old. And the handle had ended up in D. Hill's collection. When D died, Joe ended up with like 50 handles that had all been part of D's stuff. And last year at VSC, he surprised Dennis by giving him the original handle that he won the 59 Nats with, or 69 rather. That was pretty cool. I wish I had been there to see that. But
Yeah.
Dennis had another handle that he used with his Typhoon. It looks identical to the one he used, but it's not the same one. But he had this whole bunch of some kind of plastic that Big Art had snuck out of General Motors. And they used it to make handles in those days, I guess. And so he had another handle just like the one he used in 59. He put the 69. He put the 69 handle in a frame and hung that on a wall. But he used the same basic design handle at VSC this year. So that was kind of cool.
here's Paul Taylor now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Folks are just rolling in now.
About the time for us to shut it off.
That's a nice little
Sparky's
handle you got there.
modifying. Sparky's modifying your handle, Paul.
Well, it's got a patent on it, so
Yeah, Casminato has it. It's identical. Pretty close.
you just shorten it up a little bit.
Oh, it's working there.
Yeah, I know. I cut it in half. It's all that noise in the background.
Squeaky door.
I cut it in half, Paul.
Well, it works. I kind of like a little thicker handle, but all you had to do was just shave that tubing down a little bit.
Yeah, that and this adjuster here.
Oh yeah, you'll have to resize that. Just take a file to it. Take a file to it.
Got a file right here. Cut off wheel.
I just spent the last 2 hours trying to find two little screws I dropped into the carpet. I thought it was going to be okay because I thought I had this magnet for finding stuff like that in the carpet. Little did I know they were some alloy that didn't have a whole lot of material in it that was attracted to the magnet. And I wound up taking every neo magnet I had, for building my models, and putting it on my thing there, my wand that I was using, so that I could increase the amount of magnetic flux around the head. And I didn't pick it up, but I pulled it up far enough from the nap that I could see it. I was able to get them back. Then I immediately dropped one of them again in the carpet. So I've been having fun. It's like a 60, I think it's smaller than a 70, about a 60, and it's metric. So I knew I'd never be able to replace them.
Come on.
Hello.
So Paul, how's Dick Carville's P-51 flying?
He's hang on.
Yeah, it's a little wide still. But don't everybody talk at once.
I'm just waiting.
I'm working, man. I'm listening. I'm here.
With Lon flipping that prop over, I'm just waiting for it to start in his hand.
No, it's an empty case, man. I'm just
Okay, good. I didn't want to see all that blood anyway.
no. I might hand prop it on a prime once I get it all back together.
Oh, yeah?
Sammy
It'll be
was.
fine.
What'd you
It'll
say,
be-
Sparky?
It'll be fine. I've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah, yeah. Sam was on spring break with his mom in North Carolina, and he went to the local hobby shop in Greensboro, and he found two LA 46s RC motors. They were $20 a piece. So he
Oh,
bought
really?
them and brought them
Wow.
home, and I've disassembled both of them and cleaned them up, polished the cranks, and I'm getting ready to put them back together and see if they got any compression, see if the pistons are any good in them. But yeah, they're going back together right now, and I'm going to change out all the jazz screws for socket head cap screws and all that, and put a new backplate gasket on them. Blah 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 blah. But we'll see.
You know you can grow the piston. You knew that, right?
Yeah. Well, if they're not good, I have piston and liners in my stash because I bought a whole bunch from RC Japan before they ran out. So if I got to put a new piston in them, that's fine. The cases are actually both in really good shape. They don't look bad. I don't think the RC guy abused them horribly because they weren't like crusted black with caster where they ran them too
Yeah.
lean. We'll see. We'll see how they end up. But
RC guys don't use caster.
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's true. They all use Morgan, right? They the 17% oil, so
Or Omega.
or Omega. Yeah. We'll see if it was a worthy investment or not for $20 a motor. So
Hey, Mike, thanks for getting Bobby Mears to give me that information on that electric combat.
oh yeah, no worries, man. He was the one guy I knew that would know exactly what you're trying to do because he's the only one I've ever seen do it. So
Yeah. The only thing I don't know if I need to put, I'm just assuming I need to put a little bit of motor offset on it.
Hey,
maybe.
Paul, didn't you say you were going to send me some nichrome wire?
That's the wire that Bobby gave me.
You didn't send me any.
It was in the handle.
You mean for the handle itself?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
For cutting foam wings?
Oh no, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
I don't. What kind of wire do you use to cut foam wings?
Nichrome wire, 14,000.
You
Yeah, I
can,
wouldn't even know-
you
don't even know
can
what
use
that
old
is.
15,000s braided lines if you have to.
Do what?
You can use 15,000 braided flying lines if you have to.
Maybe I even got some ends, some wire pearls.
What kind of day you having in Tennessee today, Mike? Is it sunny or?
Yeah, partly cloudy, a little chilly. It was, like 40 degrees this morning. So I built a little fire this morning, but it warmed up to like 50. We didn't get any of that bad stuff that came
Oh,
through.
good. I'm glad to
We,
hear
we,
that.
we just got some rain, a little bit of rain, a little bit of high wind, but we were really good here.
Good.
It was east of us, so we were happy.
Well, you'll
As-
probably get snow in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'll be in town. It's like every time
Well,
I come up there, it snows.
oh, okay. You're coming to town, so it's going to snow, huh?
Yeah.
Did the Smith guy, the other one, did he get okay through it okay?
As far as I know, I haven't heard from him though.
Yeah, I was watching Friday. I didn't get on, but I was watching. Didn't you guys? He had some bad stuff coming through there, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to gather his cats to go down to the basement.
Yeah, yeah, down his way and up my way.
Ripped my
There were,
gate off.
huh?
It ripped my gate off. Pissed me off.
Yeah, I don't think that was a tornado though.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
The night
Came
that the
through.
tornado came through, I could hear the gate swinging.
Oh wow. Well, they had several confirmed. One was down Junior's way, and one went just north of the airport. I'm just south of the airport, so
We had huge hail here too.
yeah. And it went by Dan McEntee's house, knocked a big tree over across the street from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his house okay, but just brought a big old tree down across the guy's. I think he had his boat in the driveway, and it clipped
He
the
said,
corner of his house.
That's right. He said something. He had to help his neighbor get his cars out from under a tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The hail is what I was worried about here in Tennessee. They were saying we were going to get big hail, and I was
oh
keeping an
man.
eye on it because I was going to drive my truck to the car wash and hide out in the car wash when the hail came.
Oh, that would have been a good idea.
Oh, I've done it before. I did it in East
Yeah,
Nashville when we had a big hailstorm. I went and hid out in the self car wash, and
yeah.
waited for it to go. Because I got so much crap in the car garage. My wife's car is in there, and of course, I can't put anything in the shop. So my truck lives outside. I'm always watching the hail and ready to hit the self car wash to get some shelter.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, it was between golf ball and baseball. I say it was tangerine size here.
Holy cow!
Oh, man.
It put, I don't know, 4 or 5 dents in the hood of my car. But it's
Yeah.
old, so
Oh,
Yeah,
I talked
we
to Bob Mears in Texas yesterday. It blew a bunch of his fences down, like his yard fences got blown away, and of course he wasn't far away from all that big mess, that big dust storm that all the car accidents there in Texas as well. So he said he was going to go out and fly combat in it and practice for the Nats.
Well, if we could just figure out how to get the streamers on the back of those hailstones. Well, we had a little snow Friday night and Saturday, and then it was been windy. It was overcast pretty much all day today. So you guys probably getting that. Some of you guys be getting that tomorrow. pretty sure that my cousin there's probably got it already.
It was really cold in Tucson, unusually cold.
Was it?
On Thursday, we did classic. It was in the 40s. We were all shivering.
Oh, geez.
We're having trouble getting our engines to run. I had to take an attempt the first flight. It's so cold. Couldn't get anything to happen with the engine.
Didn't
Roncinol
your lighter
fluid.
fluid?
Roncinol lighter fluid.
I left it at home because I didn't think I'd ever need it in Tucson.
Surprise.
I just take one of the little torches when I was flying in the snow and ice up in Wisconsin. We just heat the cylinder up with it and start right up.
I didn't realize how cold it actually was. I had left the plane in the car overnight. If I had it in my
Oh,
hotel
yeah.
room, I think I would have been okay. But
Yeah.
so the fuel was cold, the airplane was cold.
Pilot was cold.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, those furrows, I would recommend you get the aluminum ones. These are some aluminum ones I had. I've had them 20 years probably.
Okay.
So I couldn't remember whether they were aluminum or brass, but they're aluminum.
Okay.
But the Casminato handle has brass on them.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of waffling on, and so I think you'd mentioned the aluminum, I think, last time, and so I ordered some. That's what I used on mine. But I plugged the hole on the side. I mean, I made that hole, like I said, and I tried it with the hole, and I like it better with it plugged. So
These are the pliers you use to crimp them. You don't need a $5 million pair of pliers to crimp them. This is of course, I don't know. This furrow is pretty good size for this little wire.
well, I'm using the ones Wendy gave me these, so these are the ones I'm using.
Let me see the jaws. Yep, that's the right ones. They're things like that. Hey, Paul.
Yep. You're gonna have to mute Mike. He's got the grinder going. Hey, Mike, hit your mute. We're getting a bunch of background noise.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I forget sometimes and turn a tool on.
No big deal.
You gonna be able to get that section set up, Sparky, for the 3D printing stuff?
As soon as I get a hold of my guy that tells me how I can get that SVG file put in there. Not a big rush. Everybody, I mean, like everybody will be there eventually.
Yeah. What kind of files do you use on your vinyl cutter?
I can use a SVG, XL, what I don't know, whatever.
Okay. I know you got one of those. You got a high-end vinyl cutter, don't you?
Yeah. Actually, I think they're SVG.
Yeah.
Mark Wise is with us. He's eating now. Something.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's ice. We eat Mark
Mashed potatoes?
mashed potatoes or ice cream or what? Being St. Patty's Day, are you having corned beef and cabbage or?
I made corned beef and cabbage today.
Yeah, I
And
had
then I had
to
to, then I had to make spaghetti for the kids because they won't eat it. So I cooked two dinners today.
Oh my goodness. That's what I had for lunch today over at the senior center.
Nice.
Yeah. And of course, I had potatoes.
Without Phil here, it gets quiet quick.
And Mark Weiss is feeding his face, so he's not talking.
That must be ice cream because he's chewing it.
No, it's rice pudding.
Ah, I'd never guessed that.
Yeah.
Something I love.
Ah,
I know you guys probably know by now that we lost Tom Morris a couple of days ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bad
Yeah.
day.
What a
He's
terrific
going to
guy.
be missed.
Oh my goodness. He was one of the early supporters of Triple Tree. And when we started opening that up, he'd come every year. And if I remember right, I think he played guitar.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
And his wife would come, he'd bring his airplanes and his hardware. And little did we know that down the road that would be what a loss that would be when he gave that up and sold out the business. But he came up to that show it must have been maybe the second year of Triple Tree, and he had this big plywood box. It must have been 3 feet wide and 6 feet long, and it's heavy. I said, "What's that?" He said, "That's for you." He said, "I like what you're doing here, getting the kids involved." And he built me a Cavalier. All I had to do was basically join the parts and cover and put in a system. Of course, all the hardware I got from him, but he was very supportive. I wasn't around when he was Tampa president, but I know he did a great job. And he was probably very involved with I think he had his own newsletter. I think when he came, he did the newsletter himself and got that thing going.
Yeah.
Is that right, Paul?
Yeah.
And it was nice that he brought along John, and John becoming his wife. And of course, John was a pretty good pilot. And it was nice to meet those guys. And I'd never been to Tom's house, but I heard it was quite a place to visit. Mark, you been there?
I think he's saying goodbye.
Oh, I thought he was okay. Anyone here ever been to Tom's house? Mike, you been?
I have.
What was that like?
Pretty amazing shop. So he had like a separate building from his house. It might have been attached by a breezeway or something, but he had, I don't know, 6, 8 big build tables in there and just racks and racks of stuff. But each table was a separate station to do a specific job. Like he cranked out those ringmasters. I think he had 15 ringmasters hanging up, and he employed people from his church group were the ones who, he oversaw everything, but Tom didn't build all those models. His church group did. And they would cut out the pieces and laminate stuff together, and it would go from this station to that station to that state. It was pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
I-
Nice
I
guy.
think
I
I think
understand he
somebody
had a-
did.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I think somebody did an article in Stunt News on his shop. There's
I
a
think
very
Bob did.
yeah.
Yeah. I understand he had a beautiful garden too.
He had a garden with some koi ponds and a couple of different fountain things going on, all kinds of flowers, very nice shrubs and hedges, and yeah, down
And
there.
train. He had an outdoor train, didn't he?
I did not see that. Maybe it wasn't there when I was there, or maybe I just didn't catch it. I don't recall the train. I was so enamored with the shop, just the wall of balsa. He said a wall of balsa and ply,
Yeah.
and then there was a big bandsaw and dust collector system, and then there was all the covering and the paint. It was laid out literally like an assembly line to crank out control line models, man.
Yeah. He was a Army colonel. I talked to him a little bit. We both had Vietnam tours. I don't know if he had more than one. It was possible. I think he retired as a colonel. And it was if you haven't seen it, Paul Walker put, a reply to my announcement that I think he said in 91, he and Tom Marsh were roommates at the Nats. And he said Tom was still kind of stiff and kind of colonel-ish. But over the years, he mellowed. And of course he missed him like we all do. But guys like that's a hard guy to replace. Just everyone called him a gentleman. And when I got called, I got a call from John, and after I thought about it, I got off the phone and I sent a note to David Shorts, who does our magazine now, newsletter, whatever you want to call it. And I asked him, I said, I'd like to have a picture of Tom Morris on the cover. I think that'd be the right way to remember him, and then have different people contribute to an article about Tom. So
That's
good.
a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think everybody's got a Tom Moore story. I would order parts from him and never get an invoice, and I would call him and I'm like, Tom, I need, tell me what I owe you. Oh, okay, yeah. I'd have to chase him down at a contest to pay for my stuff.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
always remember him. The only time I ever met him was at Brodax. He had his fold out things with all his stuff and all that.
Yep.
Talked with him a bit there, but that's how I will always remember him, even though everything else he did was pretty fantastic. But it was amazing the way his rolling store was organized.
Oh, wasn't it
He called that the
absolutely
jewelry store.
organized and clean and just, it was so easy to find and buy things. It was just wonderful.
Yeah.
His hardware was terrific.
Sorry, Mark. First time I met him was in Paducah, probably in 2010 or 2011. And it was the very first contest I ever went to in my life for control line. I don't know if a lot of you know this. I never competed in control line till the new millennium, till 2011. It was 2010 or 2011 was my very first control line stunt contest, and it was Paducah, Kentucky. And Larry Davis.
You sure that wasn't Memphis?
Well, okay, I take that back. Memphis, I think Memphis might have been the first one, and I borrowed Paul Taylor's Flight Streak. Okay, yeah, that's right. I flew beginner stunt in Memphis. But then the next one was Paducah, either that year or the year after. We went up there because that's only about 2 hours from Nashville, and I'd flown control line all my life, but did not know anything about precision aerobatics. I knew guys flew stunts in the sky for points or whatever, but I didn't know anything about it, or how it worked or any of that. But yeah, after Memphis, we went to Paducah, and Tom Morris was there. and I saw his store, and I was like, I came from a world of twisters, ringmasters, and flight streaks,
Right.
and watching the advanced and expert guys with these built up models, and it blew my mind, man. It blew my mind. And then the fact that there was a guy that sold all this really tricked out cool stuff specifically for
Yep.
toy airplanes that flew on strings. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Because that's the world I came from. It's toy airplanes that flew on strings with a Fox 35. I had no
Yep.
idea the amount of the level of competition and
Yep.
where it was going to take me. But that's where I met Tom. And Sammy was only 2 years old, 2.5 years old, I think, when I took him there. And Tom was playing his guitar. He's out there playing his guitar, doing his thing. And so I feel really blessed to have known him. And it really opened my eyes the first couple contests I went to. And he was around, and he was at Huntersville. He always brought his stuff to Huntersville,
Yep.
and he had his store. And like I said, it was an eye opener to me, somebody who had only flown profile Fox 35 models,
Yep.
banging around my whole life. I was like, there's this whole other world in control line. So
Yep.
pretty cool guy.
It was.
Yep.
Hey, Mike, you were, maybe some of the other guys were, but you went to Perry, didn't you?
I did.
You want to tell us a little about it? I've never been there.
Oh my wallet is dead. I had to throw it away, man. I killed my wallet in Perry. I killed it. Mostly RC stuff, man. I mean, it's mostly RC. There was a few control line things down there that guys were asking stupid money for. This guy had a twister kit, from the 80s. I opened it up. It was all there. I'm like, how much? And he's like, $150. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll think about that. And I walked away. I did find a really nice Black Widow 049 in a junk bin for $1. And I brought that home and cleaned it up and got it running, and it's money. I found a nice LA 46 for $25 that I converted over, and that's okay. It's working out all right. There were some junky handles and lines, and there was a ringmaster or two that were very, very beat up. Not much in the way of control line. It's definitely an RC swap meet. But the nice thing is, if you're into RC and you fly RC, all the big manufacturers are there, because it's not just a swap meet. It's a trade show too for the vendors. So like Zap Adhesives was there. So I bought a bunch of CA and a bunch of Z-Epoxy for way cheaper, because they do show specials, so the adhesives guys were there. Micro fasteners was there, for socket head cap screws, nuts, bolts, all that stuff. Stocked up on that, because it's nice to when you need a half a dozen metric bolts and you order them online, it's only like $3.50 for the bolts, but they got a minimum $7 shipping charge. So you go to them and you just buy in bulk, and I fill up my nut and bolt trays, and a lot of the electric motor people are there, and ESCs and the battery guys and connectors, and all the XT60s, XT90s, the EC3s, the EC5s, all that stuff we use. Again, you can buy that stuff on eBay, and it's cheap, but then you got to pay shipping on it. You go there and you just fill up a bag, and you got for $15-20, you got all the connectors you're going to need for a year or two. If you're doing electric control line stuff.
Now, is that a Friday, Saturday?
It is. It's a Friday, Saturday deal. It's Friday, Saturday. 1,000 tables of swap meet stuff.
Holy smokes.
I go to the one in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, which is probably, I don't know, an hour and a half or so, 2 hours maybe from Philadelphia. It's about 2 hours from Delaware. And that has maybe 600 or 700 tables. a few manufacturers. It's basically a swap shop. If you look carefully, you can find some good deals on control line stuff. But like you said, Mike, there are guys there selling kits for $350, $400
Yeah, it's
that
stupid.
you and I know we paid $19.95, right?
Yeah.
And that just bothers me. That's just, I
But they're
think,
getting that on eBay for them.
oh, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. eBay has ruined swap meets for
Yeah,
kits because
that's true.
even just 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you could go to a swap meet and buy a ringmaster kit for $25,
Yep.
you know, from a guy. But everybody who has a kit stash, they
Yeah.
go, "Oh, that's sold for $250 on eBay, so I'm going to ask 200 at the swap." Those days are over. You can't really find the deals, you
It's
know.
good. That's true, and it's a shame. I just make I was Bob Hunt was there, so I was kind of in and out of his booth and spending time with Bob. And of course, he was selling some electric accessories, a whole bunch of balsa, plywood, you know, those kind of things. It was fun for me to see people stop and ask Bob to autograph their airplane. You know, he was a little bit, you know, he's not, you know, his ego isn't there. You know, he likes helping people, he likes building, he likes designing, but it gets a little funny when people, you know, oh, Mr. Hunt, you know, and so I treat him like hell just to, you know, to ground them. But I walked around, and the first time, guy had all kinds of RC stuff, but then I saw two boxes of Fox motors, and I looked at both, and they were both brand new, never been touched. And I see these yours, and the guy was probably 40. He said, no, they were my dad's. And so I looked at one, it was a Fox 35 with muffler, brand new, 50th anniversary. You know, and Danny had told me that probably the best anniversary motor is the 40th, but he said the 50th is a good motor, you'll like it. So I asked the guy what did he want it for, and he said, I'd be very happy if I could get $40. So I got
There you go.
$40 out of my wallet like it was on a catapult. I felt good about that because I have a couple of, you know, mid-size 54, 55-inch airplanes that a Fox 35 would just be perfect. So then I was walking around, the show's kind of getting quiet. It must have been noon. It's just Saturday from 8 till around 1. And I go by a guy very close to the guy with the Fox, and he has a Sig Magnum. And I said, can I look at it? He said, sure. So I opened it up. It was as brand new as you can imagine. The packing paper was in there. I'm not sure anyone had ever opened it, let alone put their hands on it. And
$350.
well, you know, as I was looking at it, I was kind of prepared, and I had a number in my mind, but I wasn't going to go 350. I said, what do you want for that? He said, I'd like to get $50.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So for $85 or $90, I was very happy. I didn't plan to buy anything. The
Yeah.
usual thing that I look for at those shows, on some of my planes, I look for ultra coat covering. That you can find, and you can find deals on it. It's like $10 a roll.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have 20 rolls of that. And like you said, some of the CAs, connectors, those kind of things, a lot of glow engines you could take for $5. You know, you saw that too, Mike.
Well, I'll say this: there was not a lot of good control line engines there.
Right,
If you
these are
were
RC.
if you were into the old stuff, there was a lot of McCoys and a lot of Foxes
Yep.
and Enya. There was
Yep.
a bunch of that stuff, but they wanted stupid money for them.
Exactly.
You know, because they're old, they're valuable. You
Yeah.
know, hell, I would have paid $40 for a brand new Fox 35, even though
Oh, absolutely.
don't like them. I would have paid $40
Yeah.
for one. There was a Magnum at Perry, and the guy wanted $250 for it.
Yep.
You know, and that's a $200 airplane. It goes 200 on eBay generally, 200 to 250. in
Yep.
that area, but he was asking eBay prices.
Yep.
You stole
Yeah,
that
this-
one for 50
This looked
bucks.
like it. This looked like I just walked into the hobby shop, 40 years ago, and the guy just got it from SIG. And I was just amazed when I opened it. He said, "Look, if anything's missing, you let me know, but I don't think it's been opened."
Well,
So-
let me ask you
Getting
this.
your wallet out?
I'm so no, he sold it for $50.
Yeah, did you break your arm getting your wallet out?
Oh, even my wallet, I got it out, and because I usually sell there, but I give good prices because I don't want to go home with the stuff. I'd rather have 20 cents on the dollar than nothing.
Than
These
nothing.
people think they got gold. I mean,
Oh, they do.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
No,
There are
there's some
some
honest
guys.
guys out. Yeah,
Yeah, there are.
yeah,
But yeah, eBay has ruined the aftermarket for control line stuff because that's
absolutely.
it. They look at it and they go, "Oh yeah, one sold for this," and
Yeah,
they expect to get it. Yeah, good luck. I'm
Yeah.
always nice. I'm cordial. I'll think about that. I just got here. I'll think about that and circle back. I don't look at them and go, "Man, you're crazy, dude. What are
Yeah.
which is what you really want to say, but you can't.
no,
Let me ask you this, Mark. Did you run into a guy named Cliff Weaver who had a trailer full of control line airplanes for sale? The
no.
guy he brought
must
like
have-
30 airplanes to Lebanon to sell.
Did he? Did he bring them in, or was he selling them out of his truck?
No, they were in. He had a table. I saw his pictures.
I think I know who you mean. There was a guy at the end of one of the aisles, a busy area, and he had a lot of control line
A
kits.
lot of control line planes with motors built, all different stuff.
Yep.
So that guy, I don't know him personally, but we're friends and we have talked a bunch. He's an old skydiver from Pennsylvania who also flew control line forever. And the way we kind of connected with each other, there was an airplane called the Checkerboard Beach. It's a Beach 18 that was in Michigan, and I used to jump that airplane.
Oh.
His father owned that airplane in the early 70s, and Cliff got that Beach 18 back about 5 years ago. And he's a hot rod guy and an airplane. He paints. He's a painter. He paints airplanes and hot rods. He got his father's Beach 18 back,
Wow.
the Checkerboard Beach. It was, and totally redid it. And it's like one of the nicest Beach 18s in the world. But he also hosts a skydiving model airplane fly-in at his field in Pennsylvania. He brings old skydivers in and old RC guys and control line guys, and has like a weekend where you can jump again or fly old airplanes again or
Yeah.
fly control line stuff. So that was Cliff, the guy that had he had a trailer with like 30 airplanes in it to
He had
take
a lot
down
of
there
stuff.
with
Yep.
cheap prices.
you jump out of the airplane with a voodoo under your arm?
You could, but it would fold the second you hit the wind, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be able to do it out of a tailgate, put it under your belly on a tailgate aircraft and get under it, and it might not break. But if you're going out either side, it's going to go. Maybe not yours though, Sparky, because you had those nice carbon spars in yours, so they might hold up.
Yeah.
But Cliff's pictures of his stuff, he was only asking $20, $25, $30 for, beat up. Not all of them were beat up, but they had motors on them, and he just wanted to get them out there to whoever. Did you see El Ferraro there or any of the East Coast guys or Luciano or
I didn't
Pagani?
see Al. I saw some guys from Philly Flyers.
Philly Flyers, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see I don't remember seeing any of the New York guys.
Okay.
Probably because of the bridge tolls. You have to take out a loan to get over those bridges.
It used to cost me, when I drove truck, it cost me $100 to go into New York City and out. What does it cost now? Do you got any idea?
Oh, it's crazy. They might as well have an ATM next to the toll gate.
I quit taking loads in New York because you got no docks. You got 8 lanes of traffic you got to pull across. And the tolls are ridiculous.
Yes, they are.
And that stupid Pennsylvania Turnpike, you can't go here, you can't go there because the clearance, it's nonsense. I-80 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Mike, have you gone to the new Toledo show?
I have, yes, I
Is
have
that
been there.
worth going to?
It isn't as good as the old Toledo show.
Right.
Now you gotta understand. I started going to Toledo in like 72 or 73 when I was six
Yeah.
years old with my dad. And man, it was something because it was the vendor showcase, man.
Yep.
Anybody in model airplanes, anybody who made anything for the hobby was there. It was a complete trade show in a hockey arena. It was at the old
Yes.
sports arena.
Yeah,
That
I
was
used
the
to go
trade
there.
show. The other building was the swap meet.
Yep.
It was completely separate.
Yep.
But yeah, and then it shut down and then it came back. And before I moved uh, back down to Tennessee from Michigan, they started the Toledo show again. And I did go a couple years and it's
Yeah.
just a swap. It's just a swap.
Right.
No, none of the big vendors. But yeah, Toledo's pretty good.
Yeah.
Toledo's good.
I went there for a lot of years. A lot of good times. Yeah.
I bought a Super Tiger 60 there for $5.
In
Gee.
Toledo, yeah.
Yeah. John and I were just about ready to leave and looked over and the guy had a big pile of crap, just a bunch of engines in a little Tupperware box. And I said, well, let me stop, look through here. And sure enough, Super Tiger 60 wasn't new or anything, but I'm running it. I put a
Wow.
guard liner in it.
Mike, I don't know if you were there the year I was there. This was probably maybe the late 1990s or something. But it was it was in the new building, and it was around noontime, and there was this big pop. You could hear it, and the generator or the electrical system on the roof blew out. So everything went dark inside except, the lights that come on for the fire. And I happened to be in the men's room, which had no windows and no emergency lighting.
I feel a really bad joke coming on.
No, this is true. And I
Okay. All right.
No, it's true. I was in, a toilet with a door in front of me.
You're
I
sitting
knew where
down.
I was, and I knew how to get out, but I'm trying to remember the lay of the land once I opened the door. The plumbing was working. So, I did everything I needed to. I opened the door, and I figured if I keep going straight, I'll run to the sinks. And if I make a left, I'll eventually find my way out. So I went straight ahead, and I could sense other people around. I got to the sink, I washed my hands, and I'm ready to go to the side out the door. And some guy behind me thought that I was like a towel dispenser. And he starts rubbing his hands on my shirt, cleaning off his hands. And I said, hey, he said, oh my God, I didn't know you were a person. So there are just some great memories, just funny
I
things.
was never there when the lights went out, and I did not use you as a towel dispenser.
Yeah.
You can't prove a thing.
But, those were the
Sparky,
years.
that's the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Those were the years that I went there in '84. I just formed a company, and we were hand building some kits from Riley Wooten and hand building some kits from a guy up in Massachusetts, Northeast Aerodynamics, and we started selling them at Toledo, but I couldn't get a booth. Booths were sold out. It was a waiting list to get a booth. But I met a guy from HB Engines, and he said, I'll tell you what, if you split the cost with me, I'll give you half the booth. I said, absolutely. So we're in there, and it was like an all-star parade. A guy comes in and he says, he looks at what I have. He said, what glider is that? Is that an Airtronics glider? We started making electric gliders back then. And I said, it is. And he said, well, how come you're using that? I said, because Lee Renaud came by and we talked and we started making his. And he said, well, do you know who I am? I said, I don't. And he said, well, I make the gentle lady. And it was Carl Goldberg,
Carl
Yeah.
Goldberg.
right? So we talk a while and he leaves. And Dave Platt comes over with a guy that I knew as soon as I saw his dark glasses. And it was Roy Orbison.
Yep.
Roy Orbison was an RC guy,
Yes, he was.
you know, and you just meet people. Like, where else could you do that? You know,
Roy Orbison was at the hobby shop in Nashville the day before he died.
is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was in Model Aviation. There was actually a write-up about it.
Yeah.
He was at Hobby Lobby, not Hobby Lobby the craft store, but Hobby Lobby that used to be the online
Yep.
retailer. That was our
Yep.
one hobby shop, and
Yep.
it was open for a couple years after I moved here, but it closed. But there's a story in Model Aviation about Roy Orbison going to Hobby Lobby, buying some RC stuff, and then he
Yep.
passed away the next day.
Yeah,
And
I remember
you
that.
say you did something with gliders for Airtronics?
Yeah, they had an airplane. Oh, it wasn't their big one. It was maybe 72 inch. And I spoke to Lee about it, and I spoke to the guys. They were brothers that were into Astroflight, I guess it was at the time.
Astroflight, yeah.
And I figured I could stuff one of their motors in the front of that airplane.
Okay.
And we did that. And it became pretty popular. But we're building these things. And about that time, Hobby Shack started importing these
Hobby
really
Shack.
supplies, cardboard, and they
Yep.
look pretty. And one of the things I learned about going to a trade show is people are looking for show specials.
Mm-hmm.
What they forget about is that I may be paying $800 for the booth, maybe $1,000 for the hotel, for my food. I may have $3,000 just going to the show. So when I discount stuff, I got to sell a ton of things to do that. And what I learned was, if you're selling something like $100 to $200, people have to really make a decision because they don't have a lot of money with it, most of them. If you're selling something for $5, you could sell a bag of dog turd and sell out. You could, because it was $5. So it was fun to be at the show. It was hard to break even.
Let me ask this. You said that it was 1984. You were doing this with the Airtronics, and you were there, and you had a table with some people.
Oh, absolutely.
You probably met my dad.
Really?
And the reason I say that is he died in 86, but we went in 84. We went every year from 72 to 86 till he passed away.
Yep.
And my dad was a big glider guy. He was a huge glider guy. He had Aquila Grants. He had Olympic 99s.
Yep.
He had Gentle Ladies. He had Airtronic stuff. And if you guys had a table with an electrified glider,
Yep.
I guarantee you my father stopped and it piqued his interest, and he probably chatted with one of you guys.
Probably me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guarantee that he did. He
It
was
was-
flying Olympic 99s with a TD09
Yep.
on him on a power pod, and he
Yep.
was flying Aquila Grands on an electric winch system. High
So
start.
there used to be a whole bunch of very serious glider people at that show.
Charlie Kowalski. You ever meet a guy named Charlie Kowalski?
Yeah.
You know Charlie?
I remember, I think I remember him. So I was just amazed at the construction. The planes were beautiful.
Charlie built the most beautiful gliders ever.
Oh.
Charlie and my dad went back to the 1950s. Started with early free flight models and some of the very first escapement RC models in Detroit. Charlie told me him and my dad used to make butyrate by dissolving toothbrushes in acetone or something. That's what they used to paint their models with, or some crazy story like that.
Yeah, and you went to the years that it really fell apart, maybe the last 10, but the display airplanes used to be just phenomenal.
Yeah, the static displays for
the static
and it was
display.
everything. It was boats, cars, airplanes, trains.
It was unbelievable.
They did awards. They gave away trophies and awards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember they used to have the I guess it was Tower Hobbies used to have the Tower Girls. Very cute, probably college girls walking
I
around.
remember the Tower
Yep.
Girls, man. And they
Yep.
had the blimp. They flew the blimp around inside the arena.
Yep, they had the blimp, and they had Miss Toledo. They give about a big award.
Hot Stuff was there.
Yep.
The first CA glue, Hot Stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Frank
And
Triano.
Tamaya was there, the car guys, RC car guys.
Oh, everyone. There were guys with RC tanks. You probably
Mhm.
saw them. You
I
know?
did. I was there. I was running around there.
Yeah. It was fun.
Sparky, you said you got that Tiger 60 out of a Tupperware container. Those are the things I love most about swap meets is digging through junk
Yeah.
boxes.
Yeah.
Digging through a guy's box of junk because you never know what you're going to find in there. That's how I pulled that Black Widow. It was in a tub. This guy had a tub with probably 50 motors in it, and it was $1 for each motor.
Here's
And I
Joe
pulled this-
iPad.
Oh,
Joe iPad is coming on. I think
Keep
it's
going. Keep going, Michael. Did you buy all 50 of them?
I bought one. I bought the Black Widow, man. I bought the Black Widow and took it home, and I've already run it, and it's good. It's a runner.
Mike, I think it was my second year there. Now I have my own booth. And John Maloney came over. And John Maloney owned World Engines in Cincinnati.
World Engines, okay.
He was the importer of Super Tiger, OS, his own radio line. Real nice guy. He comes over and look at my stuff. And he said, so you sell your planes with radios ready to go? I said, yeah, that's what we call stage 4. Glue on the stab and you can go flying. The wing is done, the fuselage is done, radio's installed, everything's tested. And he said, and what motor is you using? I said, HP 35s, HP 40s. And the HB, a German. And he said, how would you feel about OS engines? I said, I love OS engines. He said, why aren't you using any? I said, because I can't find a deal. He said, well, I'm the importer. I think I know where to make a deal. So he said, how about if we did this? How about if I send you radios and engines, you put them in your airplanes, sell them back to me, and we'll distribute them through World Engines.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I said, hey, that'd be great. So we leave the show on a Monday because Sunday I was just too tired on Sunday. And probably that Friday, the UPS guy knocks on my door. We have a little house and said, you got a box here from Cincinnati. So I'm not expecting anything. And then it says World Engines. And this box had to be 3 feet square and maybe 3 feet deep. It was huge. It had 40 OS 40 RC engines and maybe 6 transmitters and receivers and no invoice. I called him.
Trust me, yeah.
I called him and I said, what is this? He said, we'll work it out. Start shipping the airplanes and we'll just keep the balance sheets going. That's it. And those years you could do that.
Yeah.
You could. Yeah, it was a handshake deal. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Jim Kraft from Kraft Radios was in Westland, Michigan. I went to his house with my dad.
Is that right?
Yeah. Jim Kraft was out of Westland, Michigan. He was
Wow.
part of the Southeastern Michigan guys. So, you know, you know, if you had a Kraft 6-channel radio in 1975, you had about $700 in that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they were good quality. They didn't have all the features, but they had the quality.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I'm willing to bet you talked to my dad at some point, man, at that Airtronics.
You know, maybe I can find some old magazines and see what some of the photos have in them. You know, of the Toledo show. RC Modeler always did a big
RCM. Yeah. Well,
Any of you guys know Randy Ryan out of Michigan?
yeah, I know Randy.
He's got an old radio. I think it's a Kraft. It's a push button. It's a big box. You push a button and it makes the rudder go one way, and you push it twice, it goes the other way. That's the oldest radio I've ever seen.
Yeah.
My dad had a
Ghost.
Well, Joe, I'm going to tell you, my dad had just about every radio that was ever made from the first radios, and he still flew them into the 80s.
Really?
He had old push button escapements where you pushed a button and the rudder went all full one way or full the other.
Yep.
Same with the elevator. Then he had galloping ghost radios, which was
All the time.
stuff. He had a bunch of gliders. He had an old Ace High with pulse rudder, just a pulse rudder on it.
Yep.
And then he built a couple of the first Heathkit 4-channel radios where you soldered everything and put them together yourself. And boy, when he got a Kraft digital proportional radio,
Yeah.
he had arrived, man.
Yep.
He had arrived.
Yep.
So he never lived long enough to see any of the 2.4 stuff that we have now, but
Yeah.
he was always on the top of the technology curve with RC stuff.
Yeah.
And
Craft
he-
and Proline. were
Proline,
the best you could get.
Circus,
Yep.
Hobby People. He had all that stuff, and he still flew 27 megahertz in 1985.
He's a
He
brave
still
man.
has stuff on 27 that he flew, you know. And some guy with a CB radio coming by would make the airplane, you know, it would hit it and knock it out. But he was an electronic gearhead, so to speak, and
Yeah.
used all that stuff. So if you had gliders with electric motors, I guarantee you it piqued his interest, and he
Yep.
probably talked to you guys.
Yeah, I got a lot of attention. I got
Yeah.
a call from, after we've been doing this about a year, I got a call from John Maloney. And he said, I need you to do me a favor. I said, okay. He said, I want you to build one of those Sport Air 40s, the low wing. I said, yeah. Put a 40 in it, put my radio in it, but these are the colors that it needs to be. So I wrote it down. I said, look, I'm just going to use monocode or ultra code. He said, no, that's fine. He said, it's for a very special friend of mine. You know, can you get it here in 2 weeks or something? I mean, I knocked it out pretty quick. I sent it to him. Maybe a month later, he calls me. I said, how'd the plane look? He said, the plane looked great. It flew just out of the box. My friend just couldn't be happier. He joined a local RC club. And I said, was this a family? He said, no. This guy's the CEO of Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati. Those guys know, you know. So it you know, it was kind of neat getting your name out. But I mean, my wife and I worked till 2:30 every night. Then I hired 3 guys. They just did piecework. They'd build the wings.
Yeah.
You can't get out what you put in.
No.
You know, if you ever seen Bob Hunt build a set of wings, you know, no matter what he charges, it's undercharged. Okay. I know how many hours he puts in. And so it's a great hobby, though. So sorry to take all that time about trade show.
No, it was a good walk down memory lane.
It's a lot of great memories.
Yeah. During that time frame, I was either up in Alaska or in Wisconsin. Yeah, I think I got in Wisconsin as 1980 because I left.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I was flying RC in Wisconsin, and those gentle ladies and those aristocrats.
Yep.
I remember all of those. We flew them off a high start though, where I was at.
Yep.
And
Okay, guys, I'm going to shut down the YouTube side. Let's see here. Appreciate you guys out there in YouTube watching us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And leave a comment in the description box. I try to answer the comments. I don't get them all. Some of them are repetitive. But we're going to end it here, and the after party's afterwards. So let me see here. Till tomorrow, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.
Hang on, Spark.
Yeah.
As soon as we can get a prime, YouTube might like it.
Okay, go ahead.
Whoa. That must be the LA 46.
It is.
Pop off.
Yeah, his prop came off. Hang on, let me tighten it up. We'll see if we can get a better prime on it. The dumb guy's starting the motor in his hand, but maybe it'll be
Yeah.
good for views, man.
Sparky wouldn't use that mount. It's too heavy.
We'll see.
I've done what he's doing before.
Oh, heavens, yes.
I've done it here inside the house.
Hundreds of times. Yeah.
Here you go.
I got safety gloves on though, man, you know.
You got your safety sandals on?
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
All right.
Yay!
Looks
All right,
like it's
guys.
a-
Motor.
Rev
Like
up
it, like it.
12.5. Rev up 12.5, Michael.
Cut down to 11.
There you go. Magic.
That's the end of the YouTube side. Appreciate you watching Fairwinds Tight Lines. See ya.
See ya.
Okay, YouTube side is over. And I'm gonna make somebody the host.